Yeah, yeah. Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom. Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom. Yeah, man. Scorpius time is actuality. But the reality, the external reality, is a New York time. But nah, on the real, it's a new Scorp time. You know what I mean? What's going on? Boom, ba boom, boom, boom. Boom, ba boom, boom, boom. What up? Scorpius Ray all day here in NYC. Just got in. It's another lovely day in the life. Kicked it with my peoples up in Teaneck, New Jersey at Yayo's Juicery yesterday. The amazing Shaniqua and my brother Prince. High vibrations. Today, myself and my sister Dr. Nicole Ross, Hands Across Philadelphia, continuing some humanitarian work, some international networking at the United Nations. So yeah, I'm in New York doing some planetary conscious things and just understanding and overstanding and understanding that when you know your presence is a divine presence and you live in the actualization of your influence, you never know, man. I mean, I won't say you never know, you know right away, but but the whole thing is that tuning into the power and the spirit and reality and the reason of influential, monumental connections is the vibration that brings dream and reality into oneness. And all of this stuff, all these buildings you see, all this is crystallized dream. Every bit of it. The shape of the windows, the look of the person's face, all of this, all the architecture is all dream crystallized. Even when it comes to all the people who work in and on these buildings, somebody hoped and wished and dreamed that people would actually help them get the work accomplished. And yeah, some people have had to be psychologically and emotionally strong-armed, but many of those people were available to serve whoever had a plan, whoever had an idea, because everybody doesn't have ideas, everybody doesn't have plans. People have life force but don't know what they want to do with it. And that's the thing, is that when we see the world changing in ways that we do not like, step one is having an idea and a plan of your own. Some people don't own their ideas. They're just puppets to other people's ideas. And yeah, that's going to cost humanity. That's expensive, you know? It's expensive to not have fresh ideas. It's expensive to not have your own plans. Because then where is self-determination? You know, if a person doesn't have self-determination, they don't have the ability to stand up for their own ideas, their own goals, and ultimately their own relationship with knowledge. You know, in a Google world, people are losing the foundation for what that knowledge even is, or what self-definition is associated with that knowledge, right? So anytime I come to New York and I get a chance to speak with y'all, share with y'all live like this, you know, I try to give a little bit more frequency because everywhere on the planet has its major signature. But as far as population mind, population innovation, unique beings in huge populace, and people who have been given the opportunity to synergize their consciousness, right? Synergizing consciousness from having such a collective amount of people in one place. Your ability to upgrade your soul, spirit, mind avatar in a place like this is huge. But yes, the other side of it is how you navigate the traffic, right? There's reason for people to want to be far away in a rural environment by some mountains or pastures or farmland. Because, yeah, you don't need to be around other humans to synergize your consciousness. You can synergize consciousness on the mountain or on the cloud, amidst the trees, amidst the eagles, the hawks, the deer, the moose, chipmunks, sheep, or just, you know, your own DNA. You can synergize consciousness from a number of things. But once again, this architecture, you know, this innovation, this abundance of ideas stacked, it's a wonderful opportunity if you are awakened enough, if you are clear enough, if you are inspired enough to take from it all and also think big. I mean, look at the size of this building, man. Like, come on, son. Like, I mean, I look at these things that are already here. What up, Bowser? What's going on, John? I look at these things that are already here, and I ask myself, what is my big idea, right? When I think about my family, I'm like, what is my family's big idea? Look at all these big, is my family thinking big like this? What organization or group is thinking big like this? When I think about my fraternity brothers and sisters, you know, I got a lot of sisters who are Zetas. I got a lot of brothers who are Qs, but I got brothers throughout all these fraternities. I'd be like, yo, which one of these buildings is the Omega Psi Phi joint? Because it's a lot of Qs, you know what I'm saying? Which one of these is the Omega Psi Phi building? I mean, for all the Qs I know, it should be, sheesh. And from my opinion, I don't know a lot. So the bros, you know, the Omega men can make it clear for me or check me on it. It don't matter, because I come in love, and everybody who rock with me know that I bring love anytime I'm called, you know what I'm saying? But I just wonder which one of the buildings belongs to my bros, right? You know, I've seen Masonic buildings, but amongst the brothers that understand what the meaning of them walking in that light is, them navigating in that way, like, I'm just curious as to what all these corporations that have these huge developments, and the idea of corporation being so close to the word cooperation, where is our cooperation that has led to this level of manifestation, right? And then, are we aware of the mental aspects that would result in this type of manifestation, or the mental blocks that have interfered with us having this level of manifestation, right? And ultimately, do we even desire it, right? Like, that's another thing. It's like, come on, Phi, like, you talk about this stuff like it's really something that we care about. You know, do we even care to have a building? Shucks, we might not need to have the joint that's like this one. You know, we might not be like, yo, I don't even want an 85-story building to process my international communications and financing and personnel. But the question is, why don't we think big like that, right? And of course, there's the other side, which is like business is war, right? Like, how do you get it and secure it, protect it, defend it, and establish systems that last throughout time? Are we aware that we might have a challenge with consistency? We might have a challenge with securing things on a long term, or even a challenge with just distraction, right? Like, maybe the reason why our families don't have these huge buildings is because we're so distracted that, you know, shit, you barely take care of a house, right? I mean, we've talked about generational things going on where parents have tried to pass estates on to their children, and their children are so distracted in the day-to-day experience that they end up ruining the estate, right? Or trusting an accountant that they don't keep their eye on, and the accountant burns the whole family, right? These things have happened. But this is about conversations on consistency, vision, following through on the vision, finding the partnerships and the personnel that go ahead and make the vision a real thing. You know? That's a good question, John. You said, do we want a New York state of mind or a Sedona state of mind? What's the best thing for our souls? I think the best thing for our souls is to have an alpha and omega consciousness. That it's perfectly fine to have a man on the mountain consciousness and a mountain in the city consciousness. I'm a big student of as above and so below. So I think that just like the yin yang symbol, it's relevant to know the black hole inside of the sea of light. And it's important to have the shining beacon of supreme light inside the blackness. So it's not an either or, it's an and both, right? And different people will be the guardians, the purveyors, the communicators, the leaders, the organizers, of each level of this consciousness. I mean, I own my reality, but I don't own any of these things, right? But the way I live, I get to explore. I've been, when I was 9 years old, I remember being on top of the Twin Towers all by myself. Everybody in my tour group left. They all went back in the building and started going downstairs. They left me on the roof of the Twin Towers when I was 9 years old. And I just stayed up there and just looked over the city and was just amazed, and I prayed. I remember praying because I knew that where I was the top of the world. I knew I was on top of the world when I was 9 years old, looking over New York, and as far as my eye could see at that age, plus they had the little binocular joint up there where you could see as far as you could see through the binocular joint. But I remember the spiritual moment of being on top of the Twin Towers when I was a youngin', you know. And hey, I mean, other people have been up there too. So, oh, that's nothing special. It's special to me. And I feel like I'm special. I got a special relationship with the universe, right? Special relationship with my people. But I bring that 360 to say, hey, how we even experience climbing a mountain, which I do yearly, climb mountains in Sedona, and also having that top of the world experience, right? So having experiences at the top of the world in both the rural and in the urban environments, because this is a beautiful display of human ingenuity. It's a beautiful display of where the mind can go when there's cooperation. Now, naturally, there's a bright side and there's a dark side to it. Surely, if something is malfunctioning and something happens to fall off of one of these huge structures and hit somebody, it's a wrap. Something fall from a few stories up or the top, and oops, But look at the ingenuity. Not only is these things made for a reason that they facilitate, and it's all in the mind. I've thought about that many times walking through downtown Chicago. You see these big buildings with all these rooms and stuff like that, and somebody works on such and such a floor and gets paid $1 zillion, and at the end of the day, if you really measure it up, the whole building don't really mean shit. It only means what people think it means. And if people stop thinking it means something, then it don't mean a damn thing. So the construct is still supported by consciousness. And the way we're seeing things develop in the world now, the sad part of the story is that the person who's running the whole thing could be a straight, pedo, a real sick person. They just happen to be a real sick, well-organized, insulated, secured, wealthy, master of financial affairs person. And so even the contrast of what greatness is, it's not always shown in the construct. And as my brother said, a Sedona state of mind, right? Nah, you might not see the construct. You might just see a small cabin in the desert somewhere in Sedona. But that person knows the lay of the land, knows the vortex, the many vortexes. The person can sit on the land behind their house and call a bird. They can, you know what I'm saying? The person has time travel experiences. The person knows what it is to be a soul on the planet Earth. And at a great degree of clarity and mastery, and a great degree of attunement with the forces of nature, attunement with the forces of spirit, attunement with the ancestral realm, and even attunement with the future, right? And as amazing as those aspects of self-development, self-mastery, and attunement are, if they're not noted or if they're not applauded in the media or by the populace, I mean, it's probably not regarded as something major. It's probably not regarded as a, hey, like, is this person a celebrity amongst the people? And does it even matter, right? If you're a celebrity in the spiritual realm, but you're ignored by a bunch of the humans, how much do you care? Like, you know what I'm saying? So enlightenment is a unique thing. And I just bring that back to say, when I see the letters NYC, I hear NYZ, right? And the sound NYC, NYZ, when I hear the sounds YZ, I think the word wazir, right? Which always reminds me of the word wiser, right? Now, we know that in the supreme mathematics and supreme alphabets, they talk about wisdom, and then they talk about wicked wisdom, right? So you have wisdom, but then there's the wisdom of the wicked ones. So when you look at what's going on in a place like this, you see both. You see the mirror, right? So NYC, now, Y, and C as understanding, right? There is so much active energy here in the now. There is so much reason for high interaction. There is so much understanding available for one who chooses to see. Now, unfortunately, the upside down wisdom is distraction and stimuli. There's so much distraction and so much stimulation that people may not be able to discern because it can be overwhelming. And a lot of people, for that reason, probably don't spend a lot of time up here if they ain't from here. Not to mention that it's expensive, but it's only expensive if you don't have a net. I have a net everywhere I go. So people who ask questions about my travels and what I'm doing here and what I'm doing there, well, I have it. My net is with me all the time. So I'm a fish. Prosperity always flows to me because I'm ready. And yeah, that's just a part of my natural function. You know what I'm saying? Scorp Sagittarius, you know, qualities, whatever it is that I focus on, and whatever it is I know that I should have as a resource, I naturally play part in circulating. And I'm very big on understanding that circulation is not just material things. So even though I live in a very full stream of flow and currency, I'm not really a big show-off of the manifestations of material things to allude to some position. Like, you know, I'm getting it. Like, it ain't about that. It's about I'm living and I'm sharing my life. And even tuning in today on some New York shit. Like, I'm just living and just sharing my life. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so, you know, just having a day, man. Just sharing some views and perspective. NYC, you know what I'm saying? Now, Y, C, but also YZ. Y, you know, Z is the zigzag zig degree, right? You know, zigzag zig is the path of understanding, right? The low path that you can master, move forward in and find a way. Then the zag, which is you coming up, but also you going backwards, right? And then you finding yourself, remembering yourself, discovering yourself, and resetting your direction to go forward again on a higher plane. Anybody who knows anything about this city is this is a big zigzag zig city. Some people go down from that zigzag zig. Some people come up from that zigzag zig. But it's a big zigzag zig city. People come to this city with ideas, hustle, and work. They come up, they retrograde to some degree, and then they establish themselves on another level. And if they're really focused and they're about it, they make new moves to set a whole new precedent, right? And so, yeah, if you ask what I'm doing here, yeah, a lot of graduation in my zigzag zig consciousness. You know, anybody who knows me through my art and my jewelry, man, my time working on 125th Street, yeah, 125th Street in Harlem and me had a beautiful, beautiful relationship in the early 2000s. Met a lot of amazing people. And yeah, for somebody who needed to pay that rent, take care of that newborn child, yeah, man, those Thursdays and Fridays, them Fridays and Saturdays, being on 125th, whoo, they came in the clutch and took care of a lot of stuff, man. But yeah, don't want to drain my whole battery with this. I love y'all to breath. I'm thankful. Yeah, I hope y'all got something out of this conversation. And yeah, more to come. What's in tune? Well, today, hey, I got clients that I'm meeting in New York. Be back in Philly for the Second Street Festival this weekend. Second Street Festival is on 2nd Street. I think it's between 2nd and Spring Garden and 2nd and Girard. I think that's the location. Y'all can go online to get exactness on that, but I feel like I'm on point. But I'll be out there, very likely to be side by side with my peoples from Nourish, the vegetarian vegan restaurant down on 2nd and Girard. Yeah, but I'll be in Philly for that. Then Tuesday, I'm in Baltimore with Eat a Poet MC for his tiny basement or whatever he calls the Baltimore version of that. I'll be in Baltimore with E. And then, yeah, Chi-Town. See y'all next week. Love y'all to breath. Scorpius Ray all day. Check out the videos. Hey, go ahead and copy some of these things, man. I make them for y'all to wear so y'all can be armed with this whole galactic conscious function and be looking good. Step into your superhero armor, yo. See y'all soon. Peace.